Morning everyone and welcome to day 4 of our MCA review. Today we're going to be working with slope. On your formula sheet there are two things I want you to notice. We're going to be working with slope of a line and we're going to be working with the slope-intercept form here. So what I want you to draw on your formula sheet is I want you to draw this little slope man. He's going to remind you what's positive, what's negative, what's undefined, and what's zero. So write that next to the slope of a line. That guy is right next to our equation for the slope of a line. And then slope-intercept form, remember, is y equals mx plus b. So if you think back to what we've done before, what do you remember? Well, we've talked about a rate of change, which is a slope. We've talked about rise over run again, which is slope. We've talked about slope. Domain, which is our x values. Tables, we've talked about drawing a table. Y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. Then slope-intercept form. X-intercept, where the line crosses the x-axis. And graphing, when we draw it on a graph. We've talked about slope man. His left eye is positive. His right eye is negative. His nose is undefined. That's where the U comes in at the bottom there. And then 0 is a straight across horizontal line. Over here, remember slope is rise over run. So on a graph, we can use rise over run. But if we just have 2 points, we can use this equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's start by finding some of these slopes. So the first one, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it better. We are going to find the slope. So first one, we have y equals negative 5x minus 10. This is in the form y equals mx plus b. Now in this case, m is slope. So what number is in the m spot? Well, our m is a negative 5. If we go over to this one, we have a graph, and on that graph we have 2 points. So we use rise over run to find our slope on this graph. So our rise is going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our run is going over 1, 2, 3, 4. So our slope would be 5 over 4. Now I'm going to move this over, which I'm going to have to erase what I already wrote on there so I can do my problem. So hopefully you have that written down. Alright, so we need to find the slope now with 2 points. Ignore the negative 3 and negative 2 and negative 3 and 6. What we're going to do here is we're going to use our equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case we have an x and a y and an x and a y. Our x1 comes first and our y1 comes first. x2 and y2. So we're going to have 2 minus y1, which is another 2, x2, which is negative 12, minus x1, which is a negative 4. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Negative 12 minus a negative 4, well, we have to add those together. So negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. Now a 0 is on the top, so what our slope is going to be is m is going to equal 0. Remember, it is okay to do a 0 on the top, but we cannot do a 0 on the bottom. So it's no to do a 0 on the bottom. Alright, this one, our equation is not in slope-intercept form, so we need to make it that way. We need to get y all by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides, and we're going to get negative 5y equals a negative 7x minus 25. Remember, we can't combine the 25 and the 7 because the 7 has an x on it. Now we divide by 5, or negative 5, I should say, and we get y equals negative divided by a negative, 7 over 5, x plus 5. This time our slope is going to be 7 over 5, because it's in the m spot. Here our line is going down, so our rise is going to be negative. We're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. Our run is going over 1, 2, 3, so negative 6 over 3. That can be simplified. I can take out 3 out of both of those, so negative 3 over 1, or just m equals negative 3. Okay, we have x1, y1, x2, and y2. So 4 minus 9 over 0 minus 6. 4 minus 9, that gives me a negative 5. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. I can't divide those, but because they're both negative, I can make 5 over 6 our slope. Alright, I want you guys to try these 3. Use the skills that we've just been using. Put this first one into y equals mx plus b. Use the rise over the run for this one. And do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 for that one. Last problem, we are going to plot and label the following points. So A is at negative 3, 1. So I'm going to go over negative 3 on my x-axis. So 1, 2, 3, and up 1. Put a point there. That is A. B is 2, 3. So over 2 to the positive, up 3 positive. That's going to be B. 4, negative 3. So over positive 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis, and down negative 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis. That's C. And D is at negative 4, so negative 4 on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be D. So now we can connect these dots to make a quadrilateral. Find the slope of each side of the quadrilateral. Well, there's two ways we could do this. We could just look at the quadrilateral and count the rise over the run, or because we know the points, we could find the point, we could do the slope by using our formula. So AB, well, our y2 is going to be 3 minus our y1, which is 1. X2 is 2 minus a negative 3 for the x1. Our slope here is 2 over, and then we have two negatives in a row, so make that a plus, so 2 plus 3, 2 over 5. BC, C is the second one, so negative 3 is our y2, minus 3 over 4 minus 2. So negative 3 minus 3, that's going to give us a negative 6. 4 minus 2 is 2. We can simplify that to negative 3. C to D. So D is our second one. Negative 4 will be our y2 minus a negative 3. Negative 4 is also our x2 minus 4. So I'm going to make those positive. Negative 4 plus 3 gives me a negative 1. Negative 4 minus 4 is a negative 8. So our slope here then is actually going to stay negative 1, negative 8 because we're going from C to D. So we're going down 1 and over the opposite way, 8. And finally, D to A. A is the second one, so our y2 is going to be 1. Our y1 is going to be negative 4. Our x2 is going to be negative 3. And our x1 is going to also be negative 4. So we add those two together. 1 plus 4 is 5. Negative 3 plus 4 is going to be 1. Our slope is 5.